Hi, I'm Nathan. I love to optimize health, mindset, dopamine stimulation, and utilize business systems to grow businesses fast. Nathan here again with another new episode of the Bawesome Podcast. And I've got a pretty cool fella that is joining us from New York, baby, over there. And he is in Ford Coleman, and he is a tech entrepreneur who I came across actually on LinkedIn. He was doing some cool stuff on there. And I thought, oh, hello, what's going on here? This looks pretty cool. I need to know about that. And he's basically bootstrapped himself in the staffing and recruitment area with a really cool, unique spin on it. So welcome, Ford. Good to have you here, mate.
Heck yeah, great to be here, Nathan. Pretty Bawesome to be here.
Awesome. Excellent. We got you trained already, mate. 2 seconds in. Beautiful. So, Ford, tell us a bit about your background, mate, because you got some pretty cool stuff that you're working on now. But what's the background, and how'd you get into what you're doing?
Yeah, so I grew up in a city in the Southeast in the States, in Atlanta. I went to a technical school, college there. Instantly went into kind of the corporate route. I had a corporate job for probably about 3 years, but I was always into entrepreneurship. So I was building businesses on the side, trying to do like the side hustle thing and hoping a side hustle could then turn into my full-time hustle. And after some painful experiences, trying to find a problem and build up a business, I ultimately did come up with one, which is the business I am running today. So I have since exited out of the corporate world about 1.5 years ago, and I'm now full-time on my business. I've been running this company, Runway, which is a talent marketplace that connects businesses to college students in the United States for internships, either part-time or full-time, or their first job out of school. And so our platform kind of operates like Upwork or Fiverr, if you're familiar with those platforms. But again, the talent pool is just is university students and fresh grads. So I've been doing that for about 2.5 years, and just out here trying to build it up, trying to learn how to scale.
Awesome. So your concept is a marketplace, right? That you bring employers and potential employees together, and you're a conduit that connects the two. Is that
precisely. Yeah, I mean, it's like from an employer side, it's essentially kind of like a job platform. You post your role out there, and then from a talent perspective, right? If you're a talent seeking a job in the States and you're at the entry level, you can essentially bid. You can apply to those projects, interview on them, and then work with those employers if you're hired for the role. But we have all sorts of other kind of neat, like AI matching and skills tests vetting that we have on there to kind of make it a better experience for both employers and the talent.
Fantastic. And did you come up with this concept because you saw the need from personal experience of getting into the employment zone, or how did it arise?
Great question. I actually, it wasn't because I experienced this problem firsthand. I am a networker and kind of a hustler. So I didn't, as a college student, I didn't really have a problem getting jobs. But that is a problem for a lot of college students out there. Now, how I came across this business was actually originally I built a mobile app that was like Craigslist for college students. Unsure if in Australia if Craigslist is out there, if y'all have something like it, but I built this app where like students could hire each other to do like gigs. So you could hire your classmate to like watch your dog over the weekend if you were out of town, right? Did that for like 3 months. We actually got revenue. We made matches. We did like 100, like 70 matches probably in 3 months. Maybe did like $2 or $3 grand of GMV. But it was painfully obvious that students weren't begging to hire each other to do these little gigs. And it was like, it kind of dawned on me. I was like, no crap. Students don't have any money.
Yeah, true.
They all want to make money, right? But they don't want to spend any money because they don't have any money to spend. So I needed to find a new market essentially to contract and hire these college students for some of these different gigs. And one of my categories in the Craigslist app was freelancing. I thought, hey, it'd be cool if you could hire your classmate to, build a website for you. Again, obviously the college student matching didn't make sense, but maybe there's another pool or stakeholder that would hire college students for freelancing. So what I did was just one day, I went door to door to businesses in Atlanta, like super, super old school.
It works.
Hustle mentality, right? I knock on the front door of a business. I say, hey, can I talk to the CEO and founder? And I asked them, would you guys ever hire a college student, a local Georgia Tech, engineer to help you guys out with any projects you're working on? And it was great because I didn't expect this to happen, but about 80% of these businesses were like, heck yeah. I mean, I got all sorts of things that I need help with that I would love. I mean, a Georgia Tech student could easily do this stuff. I actually am actively looking for them, and I have no idea how to find them.
Wow. Awesome.
So then I was like, oh, this is interesting. I can actually find you that person. So I ended up getting, 2 clients. I ended up getting 2 customers just from that activity because I got them to tell me what they needed. And then I sort of, a little bit is you gotta fake it till you make it. So I was like, I really know some people that can help you out here. I had no idea though. But hey,
who can I find? Quick. Who can I find? Yeah.
Exactly. Give me the requirements, then I'll go figure it out, right? So I ended up getting 2 clients though from that, and the total project amount was like $8,000.
Oh,
so I was like, all right, where's the bigger market here? Get 2 clients for $8,000, or I got to do 100 of these projects for $8,000, right? Probably 2 for $8,000. So pretty much that was how I came into this business. It was really pure customer discovery, and then kind of found that there was a market and need for it, and I've since, fully pivoted directly into building out a marketplace, connecting employers to college students.
That's awesome, mate. I love the idea of pivoting, and I think in business you've got to have that mindset, because if you're pushing crap uphill with a rubber spoon, it's not really going to work too well. So you have to have that flexibility, right, and that mindset to go, well, this isn't working. Where do we draw the line? But there's some awesome. Obviously, there was some really, really cool aspects of that business. You had already connected with the student. You had students in your mind. How do we monetize those? Because there's a good pool, obviously, of students there. And then it's just finding another venue, another vehicle that you can connect those with, right? To start monetizing.
And I did all sorts of other activities. Like I went door to door in neighborhoods, asking parents, hey, would you hire a college student to clean out your garage? So, I did all sorts of other stuff to sort of test it out. But, the moneymaker seemed to be kind of this B2B staffing realm.
Absolute respect to you, buddy, because that door to door, anyone that comes looking for a job in one of my businesses, if they say those magical words, I've done door to door, they're pretty much in. That's the first, followed by telemarketing. I think if you've got a skill set in being able to talk, then the rest is history. That's where it counts. But you said something really interesting. So you were door knocking and you were just wanting to chat to CEOs. How often did you get through the gatekeeper? How quick and easy or difficult was that process?
Yeah, I'd say I wanted to talk to probably like 50 businesses in one day. I probably got to talk to maybe 30. It's not like I was knocking on the door of Coca-Cola though, right? Sure. I was going to, startups and mid-sized businesses that had an office in downtown. So generally speaking, the companies were pretty open to hey, here's our CEO.
Fantastic. So you didn't have too much pushback or restrictions of access. Yeah. Isn't that amazing? You just, half the time you just have to ask for what you want, right?
If you don't ask, you're not going to get.
Yeah. And it's in our mind more than anything else, of the restrictions that we place on ourselves for moving ourselves forward. Is I know a lot of people out there would go, oh no, that's like, talking to a CEO is like getting an appointment with God, and that you'd build stuff up in your mind that would prevent you moving forwards. And you've just said, stuff it, I'm going out there, I need to know the answers and let's make it happen. So that's cool. Love it.
we build on, those are like skills that you can build and get that kind of confidence, right? I mean, I did, even when I was in high school, 16 or 17, I would ask my dad, hey, like who are CEOs that like, can I talk to them for like 15 or 30 minutes and hear their story? And so I'd already had sort of that experience and that knack, right? So that activity came second nature, but it was only because of other things that I did for years and years before that.
Yeah, fantastic. It all builds on top of each other to build up that confidence and drive and desire and all those sort of things. That's cool. I was going to ask you about, so you're obviously in the SaaS space, the tech space. What's your background? Did you learn this or tell us.
I went to a technical school, but I did study business. So I, by nature, am more of a sales and marketing guy. I have partners, 2 co-founders that are essentially, building out our product, doing the design and engineering behind it. It's more, my responsibility is more talking to our customers, getting more customers, trying to figure out what their needs are, and then talking through that with my co-founder so that we can build a great product for them.
Awesome. Do you feel you could have done it without, that technical partnerships that you've created, or that was an essential part of moving forwards?
It's been, well, for what we want to do, it's an essential part moving forward.
Yeah.
I mean, if I just wanted to have like a a staffing agency or a recruiting agency, sure, I probably could have just done it myself. But, we want to have, we have technology to help drive our marketplace, to drive more matches between employers and students. And we have, again, even like standalone SaaS products that we can sell to recruiting companies and recruiting teams that we definitely would not have if it weren't for, for those guys. So they've been huge and will be huge too down the road.
Yeah. And is it just the 3 of you, or do you outsource some of the skills, some of the tasks?
Yeah, we have like some contractors out in the Philippines, and in India as well. So just more like virtual assistant type of tasks we outsource out based on processes or systems that we've built. But as far as like full-time team members, it's just the 3 of us. So we're a small, scrappy startup trying to figure out our way in this world.
Cool. Sounds like it. You're doing well, mate. And so, I've got a team. I've got a small team. There's about 10 of us. A lot of them are overseas, as you probably do the same. But I've got a new SaaS product that we're really keen on developing, but we've got no in-house expertise. So we're thinking, so as a bit of advice to me and probably some of the listeners out there, for a SaaS product, you've obviously JV'd or teamed up in a partnership with some other tech guys. Is that the way you'd recommend someone move forward? Because I'm kind of like you. I love the marketing and the business growth side of it. That's where my strengths are, but wouldn't have a freaking clue about putting a bit of code together. So what would you recommend to others like myself out there?
Yeah, I would say it's so tough too if you're not if you're trying to be in the tech and the SaaS space and you don't have that technical acumen. I'd say, Nathan, I've probably gone through, maybe 6 or 7 different co-founders that have been technical that just haven't stuck. But we finally found the right match, I think. But it's been crucial. Like I highly recommend it. And even if the first 6 don't work out, like keep fighting through, and you'll have tech debt is like a real thing. Like you're always constantly rebuilding your product, rebuilding your site, and changing things up. So like, this business that we've been working on for the past 2.5 years, I probably had 2 or 3 different technical co-founders that have worked on it, but then have since gone on their own way for their, just for their own reasons. But totally recommend, trying your best to get a technical partner, because outsourcing the initial product is just can get tricky. I've tried that before as well, and it didn't end up.
No, no. I mean, I know with just building a fairly technical website for one of my businesses, the amount of developers that I went through for that, and oh my God, the amount of money that has been spent, and we're still nowhere near the finished product. So yeah, I hear what you're saying. So how do you structure that? So when someone's coming along as a potential partner, what do you say to them? Like, do you offer them equity in it? Do you start them as an employee first and then just get to know them over how do you structure
Yeah, I
that?
mean, it's total case by case basis, really, depending on kind of the vibe that you're getting from that potential person or candidate. For us, I knew that we needed like a technical partner. So even though we're 2 years in, like I'm 2 years running this business, we brought someone on 6 months ago, right? So we're already 2 years into the business, but I brought this person on as a co-founder of the business because I know how much value this person is going to bring over the next 5-6 years of this company. Like he's going to bring co-founder level value. And I know that I'm sure that's something that he values and wants. So it was equity, and luckily at the time, right, since we've been in business for 2 years, I mean, we got revenue, we got money coming in, so we can do salary plus equity. Of course, the salary is less competitive than probably what a software engineer would get on the open market, but that's where the equity kicker and co-founder kicker.
Absolutely, you got the upside kicking in, down the track. So yeah, that's awesome. And how do you said you're a bit of a networker. How do you come across co-founders? What do you do to find those?
This one was it's actually kind of a funny story. So, man, I've gotten a couple from literally like putting flyers out on like local university campuses, like in like computer science buildings and stuff. Those ended up never working out, or it worked out for a little bit, but then they kind of shipped its course. Current co-founder that we got, that I think is finally, again, like the match that we've needed. I did a post on LinkedIn, and have you ever seen the meme of like the dude with the sign? He has like a cardboard sign. He's kind of got like curly hair and glasses, and he's on the corner of a street, and he has like a cardboard sign that says like something. And then like a lot of people will Photoshop the cardboard sign and put whatever they want in there. But long short, it was kind of like a viral image on social media. So I did the exact same version of that, of me holding up a cardboard sign saying, "I'm looking for a CTO." Posted that on LinkedIn, and our current co-founder now saw it and hit me up and said, "Hey, like I've been following you for the past couple of years, what you guys have been building. I'm on the open market now. I'm looking for my next thing. Let's have a chat." And so this is someone that I've actually known since I was like 5 years old. That was a childhood friend. So
sensational.
That's how we found this one. It was super creative, just like out of the box, like, screw it, I have nothing to lose here. Let's just put this out, see what happens.
Good on you. That's awesome. I've done a little bit of that myself. Thinking outside of the box is pretty cool. We were in real estate in the UK back in 2010, and we had a couple of properties to sell, and the banks weren't lending, so it was very, very hard to sell. So we put the very similar thing, but in real life, we put a yellow board, an A-frame front and back, ugly handwritten by my house, with our phone numbers, and we walked along Tower Hill over the Tower Bridge, and just everyone in the street just sort of stopped, and we had double-decker London buses just pulling up with drivers hanging out the side going, "What the hell are you doing?" And it got picked up. It got picked up by the newspapers. It went global. And the phone rang off the hook. We sold the property in 48 hours. It was absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, it's incredible. I love that.
Yeah. So
it's those things that you do. The things you do that aren't scalable are sometimes the the things that are life changing.
Yeah, it cuts through a bit. And so you have a phenomenal following on LinkedIn. Yeah. So over 100,000 followers. Pretty damn good. Tell us a bit about that. How did you build your following, and what do you got tip wise for our audience?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, it's all about, for a little context too, in sort of today's day and age in business, especially in the tech space, it seems personal brand is very popular subject, right? And I always thought, hey, more people that know Ford Coleman, right, the more likelihood my business grows or becomes more successful, right? More people know who I am. More people know that I have a business that does this. More people potentially have that problem that I might solve for them. So it seems kind of logical and simple, right? But how do you get more people to know? How do I get a lot of people to know who Ford Coleman is? I can't be everywhere in person at once. Well, that's the power of social media, right? You can reach thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people at once with a post. But I kind of came to that realization maybe, honestly, only about 9 months ago. So I've been pretty fresh, like posting on LinkedIn. I grew my following from like 8,000, which was only like connections. Again, like no one was following my content. It was just from me networking around in person, building connections. But I started posting and getting a follower count. And in about 9 months, I grew from like 8 to now 110,000 followers. And mostly the strategy to grow an audience is to post educational content that is valuable, right? Don't advertise on social media. Don't do sale. Don't sell. Don't sell on social media. It's just if you want to grow an audience as fast as possible, it's giving educational content.
Excellent. So, has your content mainly about the tech space, or what are the sort of subjects?
Mainly for me, I want to build an audience. You want to be strategic in the audience that you're building. You don't just want to talk about random stuff. Otherwise, it probably wouldn't be that valuable. I mean, you want to do things with intention, right? Just with anything in life. But I want to build an audience that is kind of in that HR space, right? In the HR realm. So I post a lot about topics that either hiring managers or HR teams or recruiting teams would find valuable. So things like interviewing tips, or what to look out for in a good resume, or 12 traits that make high performers.
Perfect.
Like
and because I think the original thing that caught my eye with your LinkedIn account, I think it was a carousel. You do a few carousels?
Oh yeah. The carousels are probably the best format right now on LinkedIn for follower conversion. Yeah,
we've just started doing a lot of those, so we're going to see how they pan out.
Yeah, just with anything though, right? I mean, it takes time and consistency is what wins.
Yeah. Well, we started last week, so I'm thinking at least by the week after next, we'll be set. We'll be 100,000, so we should be right by then.
There you go.
And what about frequency, mate? How often do you post?
Every day.
Every day. Yep. Once a day?
Every day. Yeah. Once a day on LinkedIn. But then we're on Instagram, probably doing 3 or 4 a day. On YouTube, we're putting out one short a day, a couple long forms a week. And then Twitter, a couple of tweets a day.
Fantastic. And do you link them all in and say, follow me on these, or what? How do you plan it?
Mainly, the conversion is driving everyone from those social medias to a newsletter. And then in the newsletter, I can get more personal with that audience and get some segmentation too in that newsletter. But it's mainly, I'm not connecting the social medias together. But the goal is each social media driving to one mode, which is the newsletter.
Yeah, right, mate. Mate, you look like you're a bit tired. Is it pretty late over there?
Nah, it's just 11 p.m., which in entrepreneurs' time is like,
just warming up. Just warming up.
Getting started. We're just getting started this night. I got my cup of coffee. I mean, I'm ready to go.
Cool, buddy. Awesome. So your business, is that just US based? So you're currently just working within US recruitment?
Yeah, right now it's just I think we worked with one company was actually UK based employer, but they hired a United States student because I think just the founders were in the UK, but they had other full-time employees in the States. But yeah,
cool.
US based.
All right, lovely. So if people want to get in touch with you, best channels, I think you cover them all, but what's your preference?
Hey, Hit me up on all of them: YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, at Ford Coleman _ or just Ford Coleman on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some awesome stuff coming out, so I think followers should definitely jump onto that because, yeah, from the educational side, this guy knows what's going on. So awesome, mate. Thank you, buddy. That was really insightful. Thank you. I got a lot of selfish tips out of that interview. Literally, things that I wanted to ask and want to use myself, and certainly for hopefully some of our followers, they'll start connecting. And yeah, thanks for your time, mate. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, no, pleasure is all mine. Yeah, appreciate it.
Well, that was Bawesome. Keep optimizing your health, mindset, and business. Be Bawesome and make business awesome.